Do you know that several documents are generated in the office based on the activity of the organization? In this lesson, you will learn about office documents. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to define office documents, you should be able to explain the types of office documents, you should be able to identify sales documents and their uses, and you should be able to identify purchases documents and their uses. Welcome to class. A document helps to establish one or several facts and can be relied upon as a proof. Several documents are generated daily in the office based on the activities of the organization, and these documents are called office documents. Office documents can therefore be defined as the books kept in an organization to record business transactions. Okay, we can also define it as a piece of paper or a set of papers containing official information. Some of the documents are for sales made, while others are related to purchases and general administration of the office. There are different types of office documents commonly used in most organizations. All right, but we are going to look into just two types at this level of learning, and these are sales documents and purchases documents. The sales documents. Sales documents are prepared and used during and immediately after sales of goods in an organization. Some are used for either cash or credit sales. Some of these documents are invoice, receipts, credit notes, debit notes, delivery notes, and statements of account. Let's look at it one after the other. The invoice. An invoice is prepared by the seller to indicate the value of goods sold to the buyer. It shows the quality, description of goods, unit price, amount, and term of sales. Okay, when an order is received from a buyer, the details of the goods sold to that buyer are entered in the sales invoice. Okay, the original copy is given to the buyer while the organization keeps a duplicate of the copy. We have also the receipt. A receipt is a document which serves as an evidence or proof of payment. This document is normally issued when goods are sold for cash to show that the customer has made either full or part payment of those goods. Okay, after you finish paying your school fees, you are issued a receipt. That receipt is an evidence that your school fees has been paid. All right, so the receipt is used to acknowledge a cash payment. We have also the credit note. The credit note is a business document having similar information like the invoice. All right, but they serve different purposes. All right, the service note, the credit note is issued by the seller when customers are wrongly overcharged, okay, when goods are returned by a customer, all right, and when also the goods supplied to a customer was damaged in transit or is of low quality, and also when the seller is unable to supply goods already paid for by the buyer. All right, the credit note is usually printed in red. Okay, all right, the reason is to easily differentiate it from other documents like the invoice. Okay, then we have also debit notes. If a supplier should mistakenly undercharge a customer in an invoice previously sent, okay, it is not proper for the buyer to ask the seller to ask the buyer to return the invoice. So what the seller do is to send a debit note to the buyer to correct that on the charge. All right, so the debit note is sent to a buyer when the seller undercharged the buyer, the seller sent goods of better quality which the buyer has already agreed to retain, okay, or when the amount on the invoice is less than the amount that is due for the customer. Okay, at this point you must note the difference between the credit note and the debit note. The credit note is used when a customer is overcharged, that is when a goods of 50 naira is sold for 60 naira or above. Then the debit note is used when a customer is undercharged, that is when a goods of 50 naira is sold for 40 naira. All right, then we have the delivery note. The delivery note is used when goods are being delivered to the buyer. It is usually sent alongside with the goods to show the quality and description of the goods being delivered. Okay, now the buyer is expected to use it to cross-check the goods delivered on arrival before signing the delivery note. Okay, all right, then we also have the statement of account. All right, the statement of account is sent periodically to a debtor to show how much he or she owns. Okay, this is sent to remind the customer of his debt so that he or she can make arrangements to pay. All right, then we are going to look into purchases documents. Purchases documents are documents that are used when placing order, or they are used when a customer wants to make inquiry about things in the organization. Under the purchase document, we have price list, quotation, order, and letter of inquiry. Okay, we have price list. The price list is a list containing all the goods available for sale and their prices. All right, suppliers sometimes send this list to a buyer in reply to an inquiry when a buyer wants to know how much is the price of a particular thing. All right, then we have, after the price list, we have order. The order is a document, okay, that is used by the purchaser to give instruction to a supplier or to the seller to supply the stated items. Okay, this is usually done after receiving various price lists or quotations from different firms concerning the goods to be purchased. So after making your market survey, finding out the price of different things in the market. The price list is used to place, okay, an order. Then we have also, the order is used to place order. Then we have also quotation. A quotation is normally sent by a buyer in reply to an inquiry by a buyer. It is sent by a seller in reply to an inquiry by a buyer. It specifies the goods available in stock as per buyer's request, their current prices, delivery dates, and mode of delivery. All right. Anyway, the price stated in the quotation are sometimes subject to discount. That is if the buyer is going to make payment immediately. Then lastly, we have letter of inquiry. Okay. A letter of inquiry is normally used by a buyer to find out from various suppliers if certain goods are in stock and the terms of sale. Okay. Normally, the inquiry letter will indicate the term, the quantity required, and desired mode of delivery. So suppliers normally reply to this letter by sending the price list or the quotation. All right, this is all for today. Please answer these questions. Okay. What is office document? What is office document? List the types of office documents. Okay. List the types of office documents and explain them. Okay. Identify sales documents and their uses. And lastly, identify purchase documents and their uses. I'll see you in my next class. Goodbye.